Hmm.
Wheel of Fortune there. So that could even be, well, that's astrological. So that's interesting.
Right.
So it might depend on, like, the people getting them may have something in common astrologically that's affecting them, or some kind
Mm.
of tie to, like, because not everybody's getting them. I definitely wasn't getting migraines or headaches.
Right.
So I was having it a different way. So I feel like there might be something in this, the movement of the stars and planets and whatever. So
Mhm.
energetically like that. And you can't, like, this is a major arcana. So it's destined. So it's not like anything anyone could do about it or not do about it.
Mhm.
Okay, so it would be like an occurring whether you liked it or not if you had those kind of aspects, I think. And then here
Right.
we've got the Queen of Pentacles there. So she's very much focused on manifesting something. So I feel like you'd need to really focus on manifesting, uh, not having them, kind of, or focus on a different whole reality. Like, try not to
Mhm.
move into it. Like, sometimes I just don't allow something to happen. Like,
Mm.
I feel powerful enough to say, nope, I'm not having this cold that feels like it's coming. I'm not doing that because I don't have time. And I'm not doing this migraine that's just on the edge. And I'm not,
Mhm.
sometimes you can actually, and not everyone can do it. It takes spiritual work. And I feel like you have to be at a certain level spiritually. And that's not to say you're better or smarter than anyone. It's just work done. Right. So
Right.
I've been working on spiritually taking total control of what's going on around me for my
Mhm.
whole life. That's been my practice. So if you're practiced in that way, I think you could talk yourself out of having them. Right. But I don't think you're going to be at the whim of it, but it would take focus and intention. Now, here we've got the Fool in the middle. I feel like a lot of people might be experiencing this as well out in the field who are not in this community, and they just don't have a
Mm.
clue what's happening. They're just
Right.
assuming that they're having a bad week with headaches. You know what I mean? Like, so, and here we've got the Devil in the past. So that's interesting. It looks like it's all the stuff going on in the world that we can't explain. So just think
Right.
about, and that includes astrological movements. Like,
Right.
sometimes they're explained by people that understand astrology, but most people can't really explain those things. They don't understand those. And even a good astrologer probably doesn't have a real handle on everything that's might be affecting,
Right.
the planet and people on it. Okay,
Right.
so to me, it's like the unknown. And if you think about it, the whole we're all sitting in such a big unknown. There's so much BS flying around. We don't really know what's
Yeah.
going on. What's true. Nothing's true in the mainstream news, and then even the truther news is getting pretty foggy, if you want my opinion. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we have to really just personally stay in our own knowing on things. That takes
Yeah.
practice. So it's all of that, right? It's all of that. But now we've got the Three of Pentacles. I think it's going to shift in the next couple of days here, where people
Mhm.
could get in a real feeling good swing here. It'll take about
Nice.
3 days, it looks like. Yeah. Something's got to shift, and it's going to shift in, I feel like, what the government's doing and what energies out there, maybe to do with this perceived third world war that people
Mm.
aren't realizing we're actually been in a third world war for a really long time. But it's
Right.
not what they think. It's a spiritual war. It's a
Mhm.
information war. But anyway, I feel like all the ramping up, that's not really helping people that are picking up on the headache. So it's a combination of just what's going on in the world and astrological. But if you have a really good focus and done your spiritual work, you could probably decide you're not. You just decide that they're going to bypass you.
Mhm. I love that. That's awesome. Thank you for that, Janine. And, we are having a lot of solar flares, and the Schumann resonance is going crazy with, this week, this past Sunday, on the same day exact, Mars square Uranus and Jupiter square Saturn, which are two pretty heavy aspects to have on the same day after a full moon in Sagittarius. So we're in the aftermath of that for sure. So today in our Psychic Spies, we're going to get into Michael Jackson. And I cannot believe, Janine, he died in 2009. It feels like not yesterday, but not that long ago, 2009, he passed
Wow.
away. And it's interesting because when you were asking me yesterday or the day before, what do you think would be a good topic for today's show? Immediately I came to mind Michael Jackson. And I was wondering, okay, why Michael Jackson? And then when I was preparing for the show, I saw he died on June 25th, 2009. So we're very close to the death anniversary of Michael Jackson. Before we get into any cards or astrology, what are kind of like your first impressions of Michael intuitively? What are you feeling about him or the energy around him at the moment?
Well, I'm feeling like he may not have gone when they said he did. And he might be still around. And I feel like he's a star seed or was a star seed if he's gone. We're going to have a look, but I've looked at him a few times, and every time it goes deeper into just the heart of him. And I'm just not buying what they were saying about him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So for those of you who may not know, I think pretty much all of us knows who Michael Jackson is. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29th, 1958, and supposedly died on June 25th, 2009. He's, the king of pop, a singer, songwriter, dancer, and philanthropist. He made his public debut at the age of 6 years old in 1964 as member of the Jackson 5. Imagine being 6 years old as the front person to a pop group. They received worldwide success with him as the lead singer, and then he achieved solo stardom with the release of the album Off the Wall in 1979. From the late 1980s onwards, he became a figure of controversy due to his changing appearance, relationships, behavior, lifestyle, also child sexual abuse allegations. In 2005, he was tried and acquitted for child sexual abuse allegations. And while he was preparing for his This Is It comeback concert series in 2009, he supposedly died of an overdose of propofol, I might be pronouncing that wrong, the drug propofol, administered by his personal physician, Conrad Murray, who was supposedly convicted in 2011 of involuntary manslaughter and actually served a year and 11 months in jail, supposedly. So before we get into the cards, Janine, just want to share this clip with you guys because very interesting clip of Michael Jackson at some sort of press conference where he's speaking out, exposing the Illuminati, if you will, exposing the power structure of what's really going on here. And the audio is a little bit wonky, but just try your best, guys, to listen because this is very powerful what he's saying in this little video.
Totally took advantage of it. But this is very important, what we're fighting for. Because I'm tired, I'm really, really tired of the manipulation. I'm tired of how the press is manipulating everything that's been happening in this situation. They do not tell the truth, they're liars. And they manipulate our history books. The history books are not true. It's a lie. The history books are lying. You need to know that. You must know that. All the forms of popular music, from jazz to hip hop to bebop to soul, to talk about the different dances, from the cakewalk to the jitterbug to the Charleston to breakdancing. All these are forms of black dancing. The minute it became the all-time best-selling album in history in the Guinness Book of World Records, overnight, they called me a freak. They called me a homosexual. They called me a child molester. They said I tried to bleach my skin. They made everything to turn the public against me. This is all complete conspiracy. You have to know that. It's time. It's time for a change. And let's not leave this building and forget what has been said. Put it into your heart, put it in your subconscious mind, and let's do something about it. We have to. We have to. Because it's been a long, long time coming. And a change has got to come. So let's hold our torches high and get the respect that we deserve. I love you. I love you.
So just to recap some of the things that he said there, and sorry, you guys, the audio was a little bit wonky. Number one, the system in place in the music industry takes advantage of celebrities. Number two, the press manipulates the news. Three, the same people who manipulate the news also manipulate history textbooks. Interesting, textbooks. Four, everything that happened is because there are conspirators in the power structure. He wanted to expose the Illuminati and its music industry machine. Those are some pretty intense words he was sharing there. And there's multiple clips like that, you guys. That's just one that we wanted to share of Michael. So Janine, how should we start this? Should we start with, is there truth to Michael Jackson's childhood origin story? Is that true?
Okay, let me just say a few things first.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice while that clip was on, the cue was right next to him the whole time? I know it was part of the words in the background, but there was a cue right next to him the whole time.
Oh, wow.
I noticed that. And he also said that all of these dances, and he named off a bunch of dances that were really popular throughout the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, were black magic rituals.
Whoa.
Okay, he was talking about the Khazarian mafia. He was like ruling over, his industry was controlled by a black magic satanic group. Okay, so he's exposing that way back in the day. And we're just catching up to him. Like some people, of course, heard him back then. I didn't.
Right.
I didn't. I would have missed this. This would have went right over my head. But now we're paying attention, and I'm so thankful that he said those words.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, what were you going to ask me?
Yeah, no problem. April says he was dropping red pills. Yes, he was. And, that was at a time where not that many people were awake yet. So for him to speak like that, that's like one of us speaking like that, however long that was, 20 or 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Would you want to start, Janine, with, is his childhood origin story real? Right?
So supposedly he's from a big family.
Yeah.
His dad was like a slave driver, basically, drove the kids like because clearly a deep state or dark cult guy. But I mean, I've deep dived on the family, and they were definitely. But let's have a look. I never asked the question about if the stories are true about the family. Let's have a look.
Right.
Like, is that his real family? That's interesting.
Right.
Maybe they got dropped on that family. Who knows, right? Was that his real mom and dad? Let's have a look. So we've got the 8. Wow. I don't think that's his real parents.
Whoa.
I don't think that's his real parents. I don't believe that woman birthed those kids and that is his dad. I think they were all placed together. And we've got the Queen of Wands. I think Michael Jackson was one of the most aware in the whole family. He was like placed in there, but he's really intuitive and a woo child, probably a star seed placed in that group. Okay, I don't think a lot of the rest of the family were as awake. I think some of them might have been, like maybe his sister to some degree.
Right.
But none of them spoke out quite the same way he did, that's for sure, or took the fall
Mhm.
like he did over it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think they like this doesn't feel like some of it's true and some of it isn't true. I don't think that's literally his parents. Yeah. The family dynamics a facade. I
Mm.
said, get specific. Is the family real? No, he was placed in that family. Remember that happens a lot, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like he was placed in a deep state cult family, even if the mom pretends to be a good person later in life after it gets exposed what a scumbag his dad was, what a slave
Mhm.
driver he was. The
Mhm.
mom starts looking like good, but like she was compliant all those years. So to me, she's a big as scumbag as he is.
Yeah.
The dad. Yeah, it was really dysfunctional. There was probably satanic ritual abuse. There was very likely all kinds of stuff. Like he was likely abused and used and abused in the family. All the,
Mhm.
I'm sure they were. Yeah.
Wow. And just look at the difference in energy. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you, Janine. Did you want to say something else there?
No, go ahead.
Look at the difference in his father, how his father looks
Yeah.
compared to, and of course, Michael had, he had his change of appearance, but that's a dark looking person to me. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
He's
That's,
literally demonic. Like, look at this
yeah,
guy. Yeah. Ew.
that is wild. Wow. So is his siblings his real siblings, or are they from different parents too?
I think they were maybe three of them were siblings.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like some of them were literally taken out of the underground and placed.
Oh my God.
So they could have been created in some of those underground tunnels, like they create a lot of people that they're going to make turn into basically stars. So
Mm-hmm.
they have factories. Some people call them factories where they create these. Like a lot of the Disney people came from there, and then they sometimes place them in families. Sometimes they just come out of nowhere. It looks like,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like they were placed, probably birthed underground. So
Wow.
not even like so. So that's how they get away with doing this, right? So there's no records of those children that they have factories underground where they have enslaved women that birth children for these people for
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of things, ritual abuse and stuff. But also if they want to place a big group like that would have manipulated the music scene and done a lot of spell casting without knowing it themselves. But they're being
Right.
used to spell cast, like it happened in rock and roll. It happened in every form of music, just like he says there. He
Mm-hmm.
realized it at that point, right? So their
Mm-hmm.
frequency they were using and the words they put together and everything, you're all handed that to them. They
Mm-hmm.
were manipulating the population for various different reasons and experiments by the deep
Mm-hmm.
state to control the world, really, and to
Right.
future control the teenagers that became adults in the future.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Absolutely freaking wild. Crazy. Um, should we take a look at what is Michael's true energy? Are we looking at, is this a good guy? Is this a
Yep.
bad guy? Who is he really? Digibeen says his father looks like a lizard. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, he doesn't look very evolved. Like if you look at his
No.
face and you look at his nose, he something's wrong with him,
Yeah.
like um mental illness something.
Yes.
And maybe he was, yeah, something's not developed in him and he feels
Mm,
spiritually deficient to me when I look at him.
right. Right.
Okay,
Spiritual.
there's Michael Jackson's true energy. It's very nurturing,
Mm-hmm.
very psychic and intuitive, and quite feminine. Okay, so he's a hybrid. So a hybrid got placed in amongst those kids underground, like probably just to place something good in that terrible place, maybe to infiltrate into that world and break it up. Because look at what he ended up doing, exposing or trying to.
Right.
Okay, so they play like remember they also like when I deep dived on Trump and his whole family.
Mm-hmm.
Trump was placed in his family. He's not, his parents aren't his actual parents. And he's a star seed as well. I know it sounds insane, but
Mm-hmm.
he's a hybrid. Like he was created, actually. He wasn't birthed from a womb or anything. He was created probably in a pod of some kind. I know it sounds nuts. And I believe Barron also, and likely Melania as well. But anyway, and they were placed to do the work they're doing. And I know now at this point they're using his brand, but originally he was placed to do the work he was doing. But anyway, the same card comes up for Michael Jackson. So he's also a hybrid. Like this would be like in line with the alliance energies. So what I call the alliance in the white hats.
Yeah.
He's like originally an alliance. Like maybe he didn't wake up to it till later, but so his energy is really, really positive. Look at these cards. We're not seeing profile. We're not seeing any kind. I don't believe he's like I feel like he's non-sexual overall, like not necessarily more like not necessarily driven by sexual appetite. I know that might sound weird, but and I've got that before. He's a hybrid, and he may not, like his first and second chakra like that doesn't drive him at all. He's more by his third eye and his crown chakra, and maybe above chakras that we don't even know about, right? Yeah,
Right.
he's definitely like he's a advanced soul, and it was shocking for him to be in the physical world that he was in. And he was here for shocking revelation, like to bring revelations to the world.
Right.
So, yeah.
And he definitely did through his music. I mean, it's very pop R&B music, but if you listen to the words and the passion in his singing of what he's actually saying in multiple songs, they're like protest songs. They're almost like John Lennon songs where he's exposing, the song "They Don't Really Care About Us." He's literally calling stuff out in that song along with other ones as well. So interesting, and interesting the star card coming through with that too.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if some of his dance steps later on were to undo the spell casting, the moonwalk and everything. And then he walks backwards like that. I wonder if he's trying to undo, because as a child, they used him to make those spells over the audience. And he realized it at some point, and he's trying to undo it.
That is so interesting. Wow. Well, definitely, they use music and dancing for dark arts rituals. We see that all the time at award shows and the Super Bowl. So that makes sense that, it can be used for good as well. Interesting. MJ had a home at one of Trump's buildings in New York City, and there's multiple pictures of them together throughout the years online. Can we take a look at what's the relationship between the two of them?
Really good. Look what's between. So this is Trump energy. Interesting. The Wheel of Fortune. And this is so he's destined, they were destined to meet, it looks like. It was destiny that they were to meet. They're probably from the same star seed, maybe, or star planet, or I don't know. Maybe they have similar energy. Here we've got the Three of Wands, so that's moving in a new direction. That was Michael's energy, very creative, and he took I think he really surprised Trump when he met him and got his mind thinking much more creatively and moving it in a whole new direction. Here we've got the Empress between them, so very nurturing energy between them. These two know each other through the alliance too, and so they might have even been created in a similar way, and or at least come from some kind of similar energies. Like the soul of Michael Jackson looks like it's aligned with that evolved energy of the alliance. So even if he ended up in the tunnels, he was an evolved soul. And I believe Trump is too, even though so many people just hate him. But I think he's using a brand to do a hard thing. Yeah. So anyway, we've got the strength, and they gave strength to each other, and it feels like they were even maybe defensive of each other.
Wow. Interesting. So they would have had maybe a closer relationship behind the scenes than what was shown out to the public. Wow. That is so, and interesting. The Wheel of Fortune is coming through again. John says, love that Janine woo. And Colette in the chat says, interesting though, he would grab his balls when he danced. Maybe a message to someone. Well, that kind of makes sense, Colette, whether that was conscious or unconscious. I mean, I'm not a dude. I don't have a set of balls, even though there's some people out there that think I am, Janine, think I'm a transgender pretending to be a woman. But yeah, that makes sense. That I never thought about that before, because he would do that movement a lot. And that's kind of like a power move, right? Look at me. I'm in my power. I'm on the stage. So very, very interesting. Dance is very powerful.
But he was also maybe making a comment because that he does have a set of balls and he is brave. Right. And he was brave. So he might have talked in a soft-spoken voice, and he's got that Empress energy. But think how brave he was and all the things he had to face. Yeah. And they're trying to clip men's balls. Like they're trying to clip masculinity. That's a deep state. They've been working at that for years. 1,000 years maybe, but hundreds of years for sure. And in the last 50 for sure. They're even using dairy products to give men a lot of hormones that create them to grow more feminine like breasts and like female hormones, and like to basically clip their balls, basically. Like they're trying, because like natural nature, like divine masculine, is strong and protective and protects the family and protects their loved ones, and even against the government. And like when the government becomes your enemy, which we find out they are our enemy, and most of officialdom is, medical systems your enemy for the most part, maybe not individuals in it, but the basic understanding of it, what it was created from, definitely. Okay. They're out to slaughter, really. So all of these officialdom, schools trying to dumb you down, schools, it's all taken like it, so they can't be up against real masculine men. Okay, so like real men who actually want, and women are powerhouses too, and I'm not taking that away from women. That's a whole different, we're talking about why he was grabbing his balls. Okay, I feel like that was a signal. They're trying to take men's balls. Okay, and it's, I appreciate the divine masculine. You better believe it. I'm not against it. It doesn't make me not a really strong feminine.
Totally agree with you, Janine, for sure. I want to share as well his astrology chart. It's a really, really interesting astrology chart. So Michael was born August 29th, 1958, 7:33 p.m. in Gary, Indiana. And he's a 6-degree Virgo sun in the 6th house of Virgo. So he's a triple Virgo on his sun. And that makes sense because he was said to be a perfectionist with his music, and he would take a lot of time and detail, and he was almost like a genius with his music. So he was a Virgo with moon in Pisces and Pisces rising as well. So he's a double Pisces. That's challenging, eh, Janine? I mean, Pisces, it's a beautiful, beautiful sign. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes the Pisces get mad at me when I say that, but what I've personally seen through my astrological practice, and let me know what you think, Janine, Pisces can be actually the most challenging sign. And when you've got a lot of it, that can bring a whole lot of potential issues. Mental health issues can bring addiction sometimes. You know, Pisces also rules victimhood and people that disappear or go missing. That's ruled by Pisces. So we're gonna get into pretty soon, you know, is he still alive? What went on with that? But astrologically, that's actually a potential that, you know, he faked his death, possibly. We can see that with a lot of Pisces placements, actually.
Moon in Pisces could also indicate where that hermit's coming from. Moon in Pisces are really evolved souls. Like they've been all around the zodiac through lifetimes. And my brother Jerry, that I absolutely just loved, was a moon in Pisces, and he's very spiritual, even though unbeknownst to his own self, right? Like he didn't value himself enough, and that's unfortunate. But he, like I saw it, he was one of the deepest, most loving humans when he let himself, and his eyes were so deep to look into. It was almost like it made you shy to look into his eyes because they were so loving and deep. And that's the Pisces moon energy. They're some of the most loving, deep people, writers, incredible writers, passionate artists, moon and Pisces, beautiful people.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it rules being an artist, being a musician, the creative arts, and being a totally magical creature, right? People with major Pisces placements, very old soul, like you said, Janine, and they're otherworldly. I always call them the magical creatures because they even look like not normal humans. Everybody I know with Pisces placements. So makes sense. And also high sensitivity, right? Highly sensitive. And there's many Pisces placements, not all of them, depending on what else they have in their chart, but many of them that'll talk like this and kind of have a higher voice, like Michael Jackson, because they're from, you know, a higher realm, and it can affect the voice. He's also got his sun conjunct Pluto with Saturn on the midheaven. So the two malefics in very strong aspects, indicating, you know, his power may have been taken away from him in this lifetime, or there was overarching, domineering figures over him. We saw that with his dad. We saw that with, you know, possible people that were working closely with him as associates as well. And he definitely, with that sun conjunct Pluto, was aware of the darker side of life and what's really going on with this reality. And he was a natural conspiracy theorist, I think, for sure. So, yeah. Should we did you want to say anything else to that, Janine?
Well, I noticed there the third house, so that's Mercury ruled. So talking about his voice when you were talking, it's in Gemini, and Gemini is very dual, masculine, feminine. So it could get confusing verbally. That was he a woman or a man? Like had that high voice, or that like, and a lot of people assumed he was a gay man, which I don't believe he was. I think he was asexual. I think he was wasn't driven by sexuality per se. I feel like he was a star seed, and he actually was there was an even though I think he was ritually abused and things as a child coming up, I don't think that drove him, and I don't think he was that concerned about kind of like sex. I don't think he was that's why I don't believe for a minute that he was trying to have sex with those kids.
Yeah, I don't believe it either, for sure. So is he still alive, Janine? Can we take a look at that? Or should Should we
Mhm.
ask first, is there truth to how he died?
I think he took a risk and a chance. This is a really risky card, and he
Mhm.
put himself in a position, and I feel like it was a theater. His death was a theater. So I think
Mm,
he faked his death. And see this ace here, I feel like he'll come out and tell us that himself. And I feel like we've got the Four of Wands here. Yeah, he's going to step out. That's stepping out into the light here in about a year to a year and a half. And I've been getting that around a lot of these people that stepped away from, because they knew this stuff was coming. They knew that like once Trump got in and everything was going to start. And I know he passed before that all happened, or supposedly,
mhm.
but already the alliance and the white hat military was formulating itself at least 20, 30 years ago. Like it was already, like according to Carrie
Cassidy?
Cassidy, yep.
Yeah.
She says they've been around way longer than we think. Like they've been around
Wow.
trying to take down the cabal so many years. Anyway, so I feel like they already were, people were already exiting, getting ready for it
Mhm.
to be on the other side of things. Yeah, so
Right.
about a year to a year and a half before they are going to feel comfortable really coming out. I've been getting that about a lot of them.
Wow, that is really, really interesting. And also in his astrology chart, he's got his 12th house of Pisces, ruled by Aquarius 4 degrees. And starting next year, Pluto is going to ingress into Aquarius 4 degrees, entering his 12th house. That could signal a revealing of major secrets or coming out of hiding, literally.
Yep. So my card gets that he's been working with the White Hat Alliance and probably even knows personally Trump, which it already looks like he did. He was living in one of Trump's buildings, and all these pictures of them together actually feel like they've been working together. So he's on the other side of things, working on this this information war we've been in. He's been fighting for
Right.
humanity.
Wow, so interesting. And thank you guys for the lots of positive comments in tonight's show. It's always nice to see positive comments and not people calling us crazy things like sometimes. Would it be possible, Janine, for us to ask Michael Jackson's energy? Is there anything he wants us to know right now?
Wow. So he's saying that a lot of really famous people are getting really close to being totally exposed for the true energies they are.
Wow.
And or like like the whole what's happening with the Diddy trial and everything. And I'm not saying like I feel like that's more theater than anything, really. Like
Right.
if they were really serious, they'd already rounded up a bunch of those people in the public eye. But they've already, a lot of those people have been rounded up in the background. And I feel like he's saying we're getting really close to seeing that to be the case, where they, like, the public has to know who these people really are. You can't just round them up, because that'll make them victims. Like, if they were rounded up before they got the whole story ready, so expose them all already. They have to expose them before they round them up, because people will have pity on them and think they're just being, like it's just Trump being mean, or, you know what I mean? Like, it'll just feed into that whole, the Democrats, get picked on and whatever, when really they're literally the demonic group, you know what I mean? And the liberals in Canada and all those mentalities, there's that bunch that has been literally aligned with the deep state and the Khazarian mafia and all of those groups that have oppressed us for all these, and told all the lies in the first place that Michael was talking about, right? So he's wanting to know that trust the timing on this. Things are going to be exposed, and it's all being done in good time. And even though it's not as fast as we want it to, he's saying it'll all work out. Things will work out, even though they look really scary right now. They're all going to work out really good. A lot of the things you're seeing that you think are happening already happened with that card in the past. So a lot of things about, like, this is a play out. We're playing it out here. And it's like, this is huge. He's saying this is huge. It's the end of the world as we knew it. Like, and what discovered about it was that it mostly was built on fakery, right? So yeah, like always the tower happens. The tower is inevitable in the Wheel of Fortune. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. The tower is the card that says things will come down that aren't built on a firm foundation. So if everything's built on lies, everything's built on dark magic, everything's built on other people's sacrifices, sacrificing humanity for these people's limited one lifetime of wealth, you know what I mean? And then they all sacrifice too, because they sacrifice family members, they sacrifice their own children, taking often their first or second born and switching gender, so right at birth or just shortly after, and they raise them as a different sex. That's literally a sacrifice that they make to get in these clubs and get the kind of money and fame that they get. Like, none of that, they end up, and they probably all regret it, becoming total slaves. They're enslaved, just like we're enslaved, but even worse. Actually, being a really rich, famous person is probably the worst thing you could do for yourself. Just ask Michael Jackson, because he's lived that, but not because he sold his soul. I feel like he was sold into it by his family, but then there's other people that Justin Bieber. I mean, look at what a mess they made of that poor young guy, and his family handed him over. They handed him over to Diddy. Like, who would do that? Like, what mother would do that? I would never do that. Hand my kid over to some sketchy guy like Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, look into it a little. Use your intuition, right? So just because they want the fame and money. Okay, so he's saying, we're going to be shocked at how many of those people are a part of this. And a lot of them got sold out by their own parents. So it's going to be complicated. It's not just that they're all bad. Some of them were literally just used and abused, like himself.
Wow, that was a lot. Thank you for that, Janine. And thank you, Rick from Rumble in the chat. He just gifted a bunch of people a Rumble membership for the channel. So thank you so much, Rick, for that. That's awesome.
I feel like he's really wise. Mark Atwood's a really wise guy. And I shared it because I completely agree with him. So go watch it. It's pinned at the top of your community page. In Janine updates or something like that. Home, Janine's home or something. You'll find it anyway. It's pinned, so it's at the top of the page. All right, so let's have a look at why are they all of a sudden telling us that Trump has some big. Maybe bring the cards up, Coco. There, Yep, there we go. Trump has some big health issue. Let's have a look. What are they up to? So right away, when you got that 8 of Swords, that looks, and this is a tricky card. So this is psychological. Okay, so there's a psychological situation at play that's not entirely honest. This guy, when badly aspected, he's not entirely honest. He's doing something it's like a play, a psychological maneuver. Let's call it a maneuver. Okay, and we've got, so they want to, all of a sudden, they want to change the focus. Maybe things were getting so hot and heavy with the Epstein stuff, they needed to rein it in and change the focus. And yeah, so they're playing, they're trying to move the focus again. So it's a psychological maneuver, because we are in a spiritual and I think psychological war. We're in warfare. This is warfare. And this was a war maneuver, it looks like, and maybe even add some spiritual content to it, because we've got some spiritual cards, actually. These two together feel really spiritual to me. And this guy can be really highly spiritual, but he can also be really tricky. Okay, so it depends on why he's doing it. Like his motives are what you have to wonder. Okay, but the motive looks like it's not really literally about Trump's ill. That feels like it's all made up. That's part of the theater. Okay, that's a psychological sort of a psyop, I guess you want to say. And maybe they're just giving a little reprieve on the Trump hating and getting us to focus on something else, because everybody was hyper focused, even in this community, on throwing Trump under the bus. I noticed it was fascinating, even though we've seen him do these things where he completely reverses from what you think he's saying there. And then you find out when you give it a little time what's really going on. See the Judgment here and the 2. Yeah, they're wanting to suspend our judgment while another play gets put forward. So we're going to shift gears again, it looks like, maybe away from all that Epstein file stuff or the lack thereof. Okay, that'd be nice if they'd actually bring out something legit with the Epstein info. Okay, and even if the legit thing they bring out is that, in fact, the Epstein files were, think about it, who's had them all this time? The deep state, FBI, and CIA. Okay, so if that is the case, they probably did fake them. Like the real info is, I'm sure, somewhere. And I even believe Epstein himself is still alive, given the real info. Okay, like if literally the Epstein case is closed, dusted, and sewn up, which ludicrous, and of course that's not true, they wouldn't still have Ghislaine Maxwell, Ghislaine, that woman, they wouldn't still have her in jail. Like that ends that. Okay, so there's nothing going on there. So why is she in jail? Okay, yeah. Do you get it? This is all a psychological thing. Anyway, including his illness. So fakery every which way there for sure. And it looks like they're about to move the dial somewhere else. Okay, so let's look at, so Ben Fulford's been at it again. Now he's on Nino's corner. And of course, with all the crazy Trump stuff, as soon as Trump does anything that 5D chess, as far as I'm concerned, I've been noticing, Ben gets on there and he says it's a deep state Trump. He really believes it is. And I don't even think Ben's a bad guy, but I think he literally is misled by a lot of, think about who's his contacts, who gives him his info. This secret service world, right? So CIAs, ex-CIAs, ex-FBIs or current FBI whistleblowers, stuff like that. Okay, so there's agendas with all of those entities. Okay, so I think sometimes they feed them BS. But anyway, once again, because I had at least 5 questions in the comments out of 35 questions, 5 of them are about that. Let's see if there's anything to what Ben's saying there on the Nino show. Go watch it if you haven't watched it. Yeah. I won't reiterate all the stuff he said, but you go ahead and watch it on Nino's Corner. Yeah, we got to do our own research here. We can't just be spoon-fed, right? So if I mention a video, I'm not going to tell you all about the video. You're going to need to go watch it. And I often share them on my social media. So keep track of my Telegram. I haven't been on there the last couple of days, but that's because I haven't been feeling good, and I'm trying to take some time to myself to get better so I can do my job. Okay, so let's have a look. So we've got the Page of Wands here. This is what Nino's saying. Again, I don't think he's purposely telling lies. I think he really believes that, or he's just trying to figure out the truth. It's all new territory for him. He doesn't really know, but you know, that is one explanation, but it's too obvious, you guys. Like, you know, if the White Hat Alliance is in all the governments all over the world puppeting these people, how on earth are the deep state going to get away with placing a deep state Trump and having them run around playing Trump? It's just not going to happen, dudes. You know, think about it logically. And I don't know how logical Ben Fulford is. Yeah. Okay, King of Wands in the middle. So no, I don't think that's the case. We've got the Four of Wands here. This is a soft yes, but it's coming from him himself. So that's where I got the idea that he believed it. If this was here or even here, I'd say there's a there to it, but it's more like in his mind it's true, but it's not actually true out there. See that Four of Wands? I feel like there's a gateway and a breakthrough coming, and they're preparing us for it by the way Trump's acting. Okay, so it might seem ludicrous, but there's something totally different happening than what you're seeing or what he's saying. That's been the case all along. Okay, so the near future, we've got the Hierophant. So more outing of and more where the public understands who their enemy is because of what they're doing with Trump right now. So they're going to highlight your enemies more because of what Trump's doing. So that's the play. It's a military play. They're going to highlight your enemies and who's really doing what by what Trump's doing right now. Okay, so it's not what Ben's saying, but Ben believes that's true. Okay, so we've got the Lovers here. So this is your advice around it. Balance, keep balance through this. Okay, so keep a good balance, even a good sense of humor. And you're going to have to wait it out. Probably towards, well, it could go the whole retrograde, who knows? Or maybe we just started a retrograde yesterday. Maybe the Mercury retrograde will actually bring up the truth because it's been untrue for so long. So that'd be good, right? So the Mercury retrograde will flip things. So yeah, I think more people will understand who their enemy is and who the deep state is, more non-red pilled people. Hang on. Woo. All right. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so let's look at Area 51. So there's rumors that Area 51's on fire, and or even like actual fact that it could be. Okay, so some of these could be generated. By the way, that picture looks totally fake. Like, I've seen some fake photos before, but that one's so obvious, it's not even funny. That even looks like AI right there. Okay, look at how perfectly placed all of these little things are. Like, this side's a little better here, but these are like all in a perfect row. Come on. That's AI generated. But anyway, let's have a look. Is Area 51 on fire? And why? Because we know Area 51 is a big underground activities over there. Apparently, they've even got parts of crafts, otherworldly crafts that have crashed. and even otherworldly beings, or the skeletons of, or the remains of those beings. Okay, but then other people say it's a huge trafficking area, or was by the deep state. Okay, and then they covered it up, the trafficking, by trying to tell you it was underground activities dealing with off-world activity, and hiding, the government hiding off-world activities and understanding, and they take apart crafts there and everything. That could just be a cover-up for, because we know that that same government that was saying that back in the day, who developed that story, were also trafficking humans, children, body parts, adrenochrome, all that stuff. So what really going on could be layered there, you guys. It could be all of the above. It could be one or two of those things, but it's likely not what we've been told. That's all I'm trying to get you to think like. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. I don't know what's there really, but so let's ask, is it on fire? And if it is, what are they covering things up? Are they trying to get you to look into it? Maybe they're just trying to get Area 51 on the map. Something they do, right? Another reason why Trump would say, don't even think about the Epstein files, right? We all know that the universe doesn't listen to the don't. It doesn't listen to the negative. It just goes, oh, you're focused on the Epstein files. Okay, we're gonna focus on the Epstein files. Do you know what I mean? Whenever you say anything and you're trying to manifest, the word don't. Oh, I don't want to see this person. You'll see that person because you just said their name, and now you're focused on them, right? A better way to put that would be, say you didn't want to bump into somebody in your small town. You could say, I'm focused on having a really peaceful day, and my day includes only pleasurable interactions with others, because you're not going to have a pleasurable interaction with that person. So, but what you don't want to do is say, I don't want to bump into that person, because the universe takes out the word don't and then only focuses on the person you just named. Do you get it? So him saying, whatever you do, stop talking about the Epstein files, and the way he said it and everything, it was really obvious, actually. He's saying, talk about, and let's all talk about the Epstein files. Pretty obvious. That's just obvious. I don't know. Some people just don't get, I guess 5D chess kind of comes natural in my mind, being a Scorpio moon. Look up Scorpio moons, you guys, astrologically. We think in 5D chess 24/7, maybe too much, right? I'm always finding the other way to look at every single thing anyone says. I never buy anything on face value, and I run it all past my intuition and instinct every time. I never listen to, so it never freaks me out when we're getting all of these weird mixed messages. I just feel intuitively, try to stay grounded, feet on the ground, and feel what's being said. Anyway, let's have a look. So we've got Area 51. We've got the Four of Pentacles. That's kind of a hidden and keeping something private. So it's been like that. It's certainly an area that they don't really invite people in to come snooping around. There's some truth in it. There could have been a small fire. Okay, but this is also a gossip and innuendo, so it could have been blown out of proportion. I feel like that photograph was definitely generated, AI generated, or somehow faked, because I think it's not as big as that, and I think it's already been controlled and contained. Okay, this is interesting. It feels like Area 51 is actually in the hands of, somebody really wealthy, but not a bad person. Interesting. I'm not really getting a bad person. I feel like it might have been bought up some time ago by somebody who has a lot of money and power, but they're thinking about the good for others, the human good for others. Isn't that interesting? Or that it's changing hands to this. So it's changing hands. Maybe it's an organization like this, but it's going to become a place of where abundance towards humanity is going to be focused on. Interesting. They might even have underground eventually here. And I'll just say this because this could be years down the road, but I'm getting where they're growing and creating a food source. So isn't that strange? Anyway, it's not on fire. It might have had a small fire, and then they went with that. And what it does is it helps everybody look at and gets the word about Area 51 out there. So it's probably important to, to red pill the rest of the world, or get them talking about these things, get them looking at these things. A lot of people didn't understand, sort of regular folks, any like the significance even of Epstein or Epstein Island. But now, since so many people are hearing it and everything Trump says out his mouth becomes like huge, everyone wants to look into what is he talking about, even if they just want to go after him with it. At least it gets them looking into it. Then they look into all the theories about it and what people are saying about it. And it actually does help red pill. And I feel like they're doing the same thing with Area 51, right? So they're getting you to look at it because it's been overlooked, and there could be something. There's a big change coming to that area, and it's going to be used for the good of humanity, and it'll be completely there's going to be a whole different use for it. But it's important that general, regular folks understand what's actually been going on there before this complete change happens. Wow. Okay. That's totally what I wasn't expecting that, actually. Now, let's have a look. Animals leaving Yellowstone Park en masse. Okay, I also had at least maybe 7 questions about this. Could have been more. People emailing me too, I'm not just counting the questions. Some people just directly email me. But I don't take their questions over what's going on in the chat, by the way. I really do read all the questions in the chat. Okay, so let's have a look at Yellowstone Park. Supposedly there's, and what's interesting, I want you to just notice. So there's a bunch of photographs people were putting up, and in the photographs, like I noticed a few things. One of the photographs had elk. Okay. Now, I don't know if elk are typical to Yellowstone. Okay. But in the photograph, it was obvious it was a far north, or it was in the winter. The photograph was taken, or maybe just spring. So the photograph was really old. Okay. Months old, if not years, and then months old, right? So it was a photograph not in this season, and not, I don't believe, of Yellowstone Park. And that was one that was circulating where there was elk all over the roads. It actually looked more like Alaska or somewhere up north. Okay, and we know that elk migrate, and certain roads do get affected by their migration, or they're moving around. Lots of herds do that, including, I believe, elk. Okay, so be careful what you're looking at, okay, because there's a lot of alarming photographs out there, and a whole bunch of them are, I already looked at least 4 that were fake. Okay, so yeah. Here we're just gonna check and see what the cards say. Okay, so we've got 7 and 10 and 3. Got the star. That's like otherworldly kind of card. I think there's a lot of or maybe other dimensional. So if the world isn't shaped the way we think it is, because, honestly, if the deep state and education's been telling us we're on a globe and it's spinning through the universe, okay, and it's going around in this orbit. Okay, that we were told that in school. And somehow, because it was told to myself in school, I'm starting to think, and then a lot of evidence out there, that maybe that's not the case. Anyway, and I haven't quite formulated. I'm not a flat earther. It's not like that quite. It's different. I think the energy, and I've looked at the cards with it, is totally different. I don't think we're a globe spinning and that's creating. I don't believe that somehow. I'm just not buying it. I think it's more of an energy that's held together with consciousness. I don't believe it's literally a globe spinning through the universe. It just doesn't resonate with me. But I mean, that's just me. Okay. So these cards are saying maybe a lot of information out there has been false. And the whole story about it is going to get people, again, looking and thinking about things. I feel like there's going to be some activity, and maybe there already is, in Yellowstone. Yellowstone looks like it's slated for some big, maybe even that's where the aliens intend to show up, off-worlders or other dimensional beings. But this card says this is what regular folks are going to see. So I wonder if it's saying we'll be treated to, because that's a psyop card, a psyop. And the psyop is going to maybe be orchestrated, let's say, in Yellowstone Park. So I feel like something's coming, and it's good to pay attention to Yellowstone Park. But I don't think it's true that a lot of animals are leaving en masse Yellowstone Park. Okay, so we've got this Two of Pentacles here. I feel like this is saying the real reason a lot of the migration paths of animals, and maybe some of those photographs of animals leaving different areas, because not all the areas they were leaving were Yellowstone Park. Okay, and maybe their migration is changing, and we've seen whales washing up in places and all kinds of weird things. I feel like that might have something to do with the polar shift. The poles shifting could be changing migration. And I think that's been going on for years. I don't think it's an overnight thing. I think it's actually been happening for years. Yeah, probably 3 years looking at this card here. It's been ongoing. So I think that might have to do with why those pictures are circulating, or why some people believe these animals are moving around unnaturally, but it's not directly related to Yellowstone Park. Okay. Although I think looking into or keeping an eye on Yellowstone Park is a really good idea. Okay, Starmer and Reeves. So I didn't do this word for word, but I'm not keeping track of UK news, okay, as much as I should, I'm sure. But a lot of people on this platform are, in fact, from the UK. And they're keeping track of it, of course, because they got to live through it. But they're saying that these guys are doing the opposite of what voters, UKers want. Okay, that's going on in all governments, just by the way. Maybe not the US, although some people would argue with me on that. But Canada, for sure, we got the same issue. France has the same issue. Most places in Europe, Germany, like the Netherlands, like places all over Europe are having that very same. And I believe that's the White Hat Alliance getting these guys to out themselves and showing you in your face what kind of scumbags we've been allowing to run countries. Okay, that's really been my take for years. Okay, you guys remember that, right? Okay, so they're saying here that the in-your-face madness, okay, they want to know, when will this madness end? So I think the person that asked the question did agree kind of with me, or does see that it's so crazy that it must be part of the theater. Okay, so they're wanting to know, when will the madness end in the UK? And will it be gradual or sudden? Okay. There we go. That was a cough break. That's why I do that, just so you know. Okay, let's have a look. So psyops. So those people are absolutely part of the theater. And yes, they're absolutely running roughshod. So yeah, that they're all doing that in all the governments. That's what Carney is doing in ours too, Canada here. And yeah, I think most people chime in the comments. Like, is that going on in your country? Because guess what? It's going on Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Germany, everywhere. I mean, even like that woman that did that about face, I think she's from Italy. Everyone was liking her, and then she turned into big as a globalist as anybody, probably showing you how these guys are compromised. Like, you know what I mean? All of a sudden she started agreeing with that hideous woman that I think a lot of these people have been actually rounded up anyway. But that hideous woman from the WHO, I think, or no, she's from the UN, that UN woman. Okay, that character in the movie is a villain in the movie. Okay, so such a villain. And so are these guys in the UK. Starmer. I mean, the guy's a complete scumbag, and he's nothing that he presented himself as, right? Like a family man. What a joke. You know what I mean? He's obviously a gay man who's, well, it's actually even worse than that. He's a Satanist, obviously, in my opinion. And probably, sexually abuses people for pleasure, likely. Okay, that's more likely. But anyway, right? These guys are outing themselves, and that's exactly what's going on. And it's creating the public to absolutely wake the you know what up. Okay, and that's really important. Okay, yeah. So we've got the Six of Cups here. So the Six of Cups coming into this, I wonder if one of those characters, I don't think Starmer was ever thought of as a good person, at least by people in the know. So let me know, did you guys used to think he was okay? I mean, you didn't know that he was the globalist scumbag that he is? I don't know, right? Because it feels to me like one of those characters might have appeared for the people, and then that's really switched around, and now they're really outing themselves. That's kind of what that looks like to me. But another way you could read this is that these guys are all backdoor deals, and all of this is orchestrated, and they all know what they're doing, and they've been given lines. So that's what that looks like. But we're asking, when does it end, and does it end quickly? Okay, so end and end. We have two ending cards, 2 10s. Okay, and I would say by the 10th month, we're done with these characters. Okay, and it might go right up to 2 weeks before, and the last 2 weeks could really take them down. So that's feeling like, what's the 10th month? October. But let's just say it does seem to end, and it doesn't take long. The ending may take about 2 weeks. That's what I'm thinking, where they really just go down, but maybe not overnight, and maybe not over a long drawn out period either. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question. And I'm looking at October. And actually October would make a lot of sense to Cliff High's scale of energies and emotional values that seem to be really, it seems to be dead on, like what he did there for us, looking at the whole year in energy spikes. Okay, let's have a look. Netherlands court case against Bill Gates. And I think it's against some other people too, but really, it would do exactly what that Nuremberg 2.0 sort of other trial that was led by, what was that guy? He's supposedly in jail, German lawyer. Anyway, you guys will know in the chat. The German lawyer that supposedly got picked up for a visa issue, but then ended up in jail. And now they're trying to do the same to shut these guys down. Okay. These Netherlands lawyers are taking Bill Gates, but so far it's looking like it might go ahead. So a big people against Bill Gates trial, basically outing him for the COVID scam and vaccine scam. And, basically trying to kill 80% of humanity. Okay, again, that looks like all of these guys. Oh, sorry, guys. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so now we've got the 6 here. So they're all in on it. And we've got the 9. Even though they appear like they're doing it individual, I feel like these guys are working with the white hats, you guys. I think they're part of, and they're working with the white hats and the alliance. So that's an alliance card. And I think it'll go to a certain degree. I think it's more drawing attention to the issues, and really getting people to understand who Bill Gates is. Okay. And I feel like it's going to go a certain degree, and then somebody really important becomes known to be dead and or passed over already and or has disappeared. Like this could even be like information coming out that Bill Gates has already been rounded up. He's been rounded up. So I feel like it takes a unique turn, let's say it like this. So it goes a certain degree and then takes a unique turn. And I'd say even in the next 7, that could be days, but it could also be weeks. And things become known about the death of someone. I'm thinking you start to understand Bill Gates was rounded up a long time ago and likely processed. By the way, the real Bill Gates was lynched in a community in India, a village, him and his wife. And this other person's that's been pretending to be Bill Gates, they just took over the foundation because the foundation was wealthy and belonged to the deep state, is what I think. And so the deep state replaced that Bill Gates. That was probably many, many years ago. They replaced that Bill Gates and his wife and put these fake Bill Gates. By the way, I believe that guy running around, the main one that you see that you think is Bill Gates, looks like a woman to me, changed into a man. So a trans woman. Is that what you'd say? So a woman who became a man, or at least parades around as a man. And the wife of Bill Gates that supposedly divorced him, it's also fake, was a guy, obviously, and could have even been played by a famous person who supposedly died. Okay, you guys figure that one out. But this is going to go a certain degree, but it's not really about having the trial. It's more about getting everybody looking at why they should have a trial against a guy like Bill Gates. He's already been rounded up. We might even find that out before this concludes. So in a way, it's good. I think it'll educate a lot of people and bring them up to snuff. But it's not really about the trial per se. Okay, let's have a look at what do we got. Have we had our near-death experience according to Juan 07? So Juan 07's been talking about this near-death experience that we have to have as humans, and he's still talking about it. He's been talking about it for years, and I'm wondering, or this person actually, I didn't actually write this question. I'm asking on behalf of somebody in the the website. Somebody's on the website wondering, did we already have the past life or the near-death experience? And if not, when can we expect it and what will it be like? And those are really good questions. Okay, so the near-death experience. Did we have it? We've had lots of near-death experiences. Yeah, we've been, yeah. And even like what's happening with the whole Trumpedos right now, and a lot of people just freaking out and throwing them under the bus and stuff. I feel like we're in the near-death experience. It's really soon. If we're not literally in it right now. In other words, it's imminent. So yeah, I think we have not had it. I think in a way it's already happening. And it kind of leads us to understanding that tribunals have been going on. And what really puts the nail in the coffin for people, like we're in degrees of it now, but I feel like the real thing that does it has something to do with the outing of party substance, adrenochrome, child trafficking, infant satanic ritual abuse, and killing infants for ritual. Like, I feel like, yeah, we might think we know about that, but if regular folks had that really seared into their knowing in some way, I feel like that'll be the near-death experience, that where people realize there's many among us who would do things like that. And there are even people we used to go watch in movies, listen to their music, people that entertained us. We might have even put them on pedestals, people we looked up to in governments. I feel like that is going to, so that sounds like we're in the process of the coming down of, and I feel like over the next 3 months, and that's how the universe wants to talk about now. Universe, when it thinks of now, is not usually like now is, we're in the present now. Okay, so it's not about today, or it's over the next few months. And I feel like in this year, 2025, that near-death experience, and for different people, some people are already experiencing it by the look of that. But other people, it'll be maybe at later dates. And some people, like I said, have already experienced it. Okay, so it's degrees on, because it's for them individually what's a near-death experience. Okay, so I don't think it'll just be one exact same for everybody. I think it's ongoing over the next months. It's been going on for months. And it really comes to a head here in some kind of outing of that horrific information, and a real, like, so much so that the regular folks have to face it. Yeah. So I hope that answers that question. Let's have a look. So silver, why is it so hyped up? Have you guys noticed on X especially? I've noticed that I've been sharing it on Telegram. People have been sharing really big forecasts about silver, and like we've known for a long time. The cards have been saying, and it's been obvious that silver is going up, and we know that banks short silver. So look up and do some investigation if you don't know what I mean by that. And it's actually what's kept the banks going. And when it's outed and they can't do that anymore, and silver, first of all, will really rise to its true value, which is incredibly a lot more than it's valued at right now. These banks that have been doing that go under. They don't stand a chance. Okay, that's why they've been manipulating the price. So they didn't go under, because when silver goes really, like they say, past 50 American, $50 an ounce American. And I'm not sure if it's hit 50 American. It's definitely hit Canadian 50 and keeps doing it and going a little back. And but when it hits 50 American, and then there's no stopping it. That's what they say. Okay, so there's so much hype about silver right now. I'm just wondering, and this person was wondering the same thing, what is going on here? And is it legit time for silver to stop being manipulated? So again, silver always comes up as worth way more than they're saying it is. It's going to be really used in the future for all kinds of technology, already used for lots of things, but I feel like future technology too. And we've got a 6, so this looks really good for silver. It's already begun in a small way. Okay, now we've got the Fool in the middle. So it's like, woo. I feel like they're going to rein it in, and it'll go back and forth and go forward and backward for about 5 more weeks here. It could be frustrating, or maybe that's months, but swords are usually weeks. Hey, Betty. And now we've got the Magician and Surrender. Yeah, they're going to monkey around with it a bit longer. But not too bad, because the 5 of Swords, it'll be frustrating, but it's setbacks. There's going to be setbacks with silver. And I think by October, we're really in it with that 10 again. They really have to stop manipulating it by then, I feel like. But they're still playing out a lot of this movie. And I think the White Hat Alliance are allowing it to be still appearing like it's being manipulated while people are educated on what that means, and while they're doing this soft exposure, it's not so soft anymore, of the banks and the banking systems. Whoa, okay. I'm going to just take a really quick get off camera just for a minute. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. What else do we have here? So that was silver. Grand Canyon. Okay, I love this question. I said I was doing 10 questions. I'm doing 10 questions to make up for the video I missed earlier in the week. So this is a double news, world news. That's what you're getting here. 10 questions. That was the whole idea, guys. We're going along. Thank you, Coco, for doing this. I know you got a show later. Okay, so the Grand Canyon. Big shout out to Coco, who's awesome, and I hope she had a great holiday. Let's have a look. Grand Canyon, what are they hiding in it? Okay, so we've got... They are going to show us. They are going to show us, I'd say, early in the new year. Wow. The universe doesn't want to tell us what they're hiding in it. Whatever they're hiding in it, and they're definitely hiding stuff in the Grand Canyon, it's not time. So this is a timing and time-sensitive thing. Universe says patience and perseverance. Universal timing is in effect. About a year from now, we're all going to know what's in the Grand Canyon, but not even a hint in this reading what it is. Wow. Okay. That's fascinating. Now, my last thing I want to do is say, how do we get through this? Like, we got Trump going off the rails, or so it would. Yeah, crazy time. Thank you. Yeah, it is crazy. And how do we get through it sanely? Okay, and I felt like Mark Atwood had a good point. He said, just watch, observe, and let things take their course. A little bit of patience might be a good thing, but let's see what the universe says. Yeah, that card's carefully and patient. Oh, we got a cat fight brewing where Dusty has come in the room and Betty is not having it. Betty's taken over my office, and Dusty used to love being in here, and she's not being nice to Dusty, I got to tell you. Yeah, and I get it. She just moved, and she's, wanting to stake out a claim, but she's literally trying to own the whole house and kick Dusty out. Anyway, okay, so we have to be careful. Try not to get like emotionally sad over what's going on, the theater that's going on. Like areas, like of course we can't not get emotionally upset about what's been going on with children and what's been going on in the world that's against humanity. Absolutely. But looking at the theater that's going on and getting upset about it, that I think is where the universe is like, don't waste your time doing that. You're watching a theater. It's not going to make sense. You won't be able to make sense of why Trump said what, unless you're like really intuitive about 5D chess, I guess. Okay. So when things are absolutely nuts, try just coming in and grounding this balance, find personal balance. And that could be in your garden. That could be in nature. That could be in art, doing art, movement, hiking. Everybody's got different ways of doing it, right? So find that peaceful place to be in yourself and personal balance, and try not to figure out why did they just put out that Trump has varicose vein issues. Sorry. I burst out laughing when I heard that. And then I started coughing, of course, because that is ludicrous. Like almost everybody has, that age has, I have varicose vein issues, maybe similar to him. Who knows? Like it's absurd that, they made such a big deal. But anyway, I feel like they're just trying to change course, or they're giving us a clue that we're about to move in a different direction away from the drama we were just in. And they've been doing that all along, right? Think of all the dramas they created and then completely dropped. Ukraine, Iran, Israel. Like it's just hilarious, like absurd even. But anyway, okay, so near future. Here's the near future. Like we're going to see a lot more about what's really going on. And a lot of what's being done is to keep everybody safe. Okay, so that I'm seeing, I'm trusting that. We've got the tower. There's a big shock coming, and it's for everybody. I feel like this is a clue towards what it is. And I've been saying it for a really long time. The true knowing of what goes on underground tunnels, and 2 children and how they make adrenochrome. Maybe they'll have a real film footage of it. Maybe they're going to have, that'll be horrific, but some real evidence. But something's coming that does look like it'll create a really big drama for everybody. Okay, like a near-death experience. Maybe just realizing the death of how you thought your world was and the rebirth of what it really is and what it could be with the new way we're going to do things, right? And we're all going to have to work together on that. But it feels like grounding, not taking things too personally, being patient, and giving things time to reveal themselves. So patience, take a deep breath, do something different. There is going to be events coming. Prepare for that, but know this in your heart. Feel personally safe and grounded in those events, and you will be, right? If you're assuming and fearing and bracing for them, I feel like that wouldn't be the right way to approach it. Get flexible and, try to be more mentally flexible. In my tribe, we'll say in my tribe, and they're going to use the garden out behind my place. There's a big garden that Allison tends. I guess it's Allison's garden. and it's incredible. She does a fantastic job, and I'll try to get a few still shots, not necessarily of the guests, because of course I don't have their permission, but just of how pretty it'll look around there, because it'll be right behind my place where the wedding's taking place, and I'm going to be a big part of it because I'm auntie to the girl that's the woman that's getting married. So technically not my niece, but in my heart, my niece. You guys remember Bonnie Olson, who passed away a couple of years ago now? Redhead, beautiful, bodacious redhead, one of my best friends. A mysterious, sudden heart attack. We'll just leave it there for your imaginations. But so sad. 54 years old. Anyway, Winona is her daughter. So we lost Jerry and then Bonnie, just boom, boom. And it was a tragic year there where, those two went. Those are two of the finest peoples I know. Anyway, Winona is like a daughter to me, and she's also my daughter's best friend. And Raven, who got married in the Haida Gwaii a few years ago, is actually the year Bonnie died. Raven was going to have her officiate the wedding. Bonnie used to do that. And of course, she couldn't that year, but we absolutely went ahead with the wedding anyway, because we knew Bonnie would want us to. So Raven got married that year, and Winona was her maid of honor. And now Raven's going to be Winona's maid of honor. So lots of people coming to the Haida Gwaii in the next week or two. So I thought I better get this out there. I better look at some news, because I bet you guys are all, but I mean, I got to tell you, remember when I first looked at June and how crazy it was going to be? July is times 10. Like, the amount of BS going on in the news is beyond comprehension. And I'm just not taking a lot of things at face value. But I will say, hang on. Ooh, when I get excited, I'll start coughing. So I might have to, hang on. That might happen a few times in the video. Bear with me, people. And things take a little more time when you're not feeling your best, but I am really excited about looking at news. That's how excited I am about it. I'm not just doing this because people want it. I'm doing it because I want to know stuff. And I wait and look at it all with you guys. I don't always do the cards on things till I'm doing it live. That's just how I work. I just like it that way. So my first thing I want to look at is the whole Dan Bongino Epstein list. Oh my goodness. Okay, so after that all drama started, and they started denying that, well, basically saying Epstein didn't kill himself and there's proof. Then they showed that really ridiculous video that could easily be fake. And also was even proved that there was a good minute out of it, which easily he could have slipped out of that room and they could have put another dead body in the room. So many things, right? You guys, you know what I'm talking about. It was a joke, right? So it's obvious to me. It's so obvious it must be part of the comms. Okay, but when I looked at it with Jean-Claude, it actually looked like it was more sinister than that. It looked like Jean-Claude. So we did a video live, but it was a Beyond the News that we usually do on the IAP, Insider's Access Pass. We did it live on Rumble the night before everybody went on holidays. Do you guys remember that? Go watch it. It's on Rumble. It's on the Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic Rumble. It's a really good show. And we were looking at what on earth, because all of a sudden they were doing this whole thing where they were stepping away from the Epstein list and saying there wasn't one really. So it looked like they were being kind of blackmailed, actually, or
they had to push it to keep people safe, and in particular children. So that was interesting. That's what it looked like. So they were pushing it to keep kids safe. That's what I got. Okay, so that thing, and then they would use this. So it looked like they were going to spin this to clean some things up, and then down the road, get back on top of the whole situation. Okay, so here's Betty. She's the old gal that lives in Vancouver. Hey, Betty. Yeah, giving me gears. She's what? Giving me gears and moving the camera. No, sweetie, you can't do that. No, you got, oh, you're going to lay down. Okay. Oh, boy. Miss Betty. And, you can't be moving Betty, because if you think Dusty bums grumpy when he gets moved, you better meet Betty. Okay, I have no idea how these two are going to, like she used to when Dusty was just a baby. We had him here in Vancouver with her for about 3 months. She didn't like him. She didn't even give him the time of day, really. So that's going to be interesting when she gets out there, and it's kind of Dusty Bum's scene. My place is sort of taken over by Dusty Bum, so I wonder how that's going to be for her. But I'll keep you guys all on top of the situation. Betty, Dusty's a kind fella, and he doesn't try to dominate the scene. Betty does for sure, and all good female cats do. That's just what they're like. Okay, so she'll probably try to get the upper hand in the house. Dusty will probably let her. He ends up he just wants to play with other cats. He doesn't want to fight. He's a lover, not a fighter. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out. Yeah, so anyway, Betty, you might want to move here, sweetie. Okay, I guess not for now. Anyway, I guess we're going to be stuck with her sitting there. We'll see if we can work around it. Okay, sweetie? Sorry, I just love her so much. All right. Okay, so what we're going to look at is, so it looked like the Trump, and remember, it's the Trump brand. Let's say that. It's the brand of Trump, because we haven't seen the real Trump for probably months, maybe years, for sure months. But we see him rarely. Real Trump might be in the background working with the White Hat Alliance. Like, as far as I know, that's what it always looks like in the cards. But we haven't seen, real Trump doesn't work the front. Okay, and they just have him saying stuff. Okay, and that's where, like Ben, what's that guy's name? Ben Fulford, just like his stuff really falls apart. Okay, because, yeah, every time I look at Ben Fulford's info, and he says, oh, they've taken Trump out. That's really convenient to say, oh, yeah, they've replaced him with the deep state Trump. Well, I just yet don't see that that's possible, right? I really don't, because according to the cards, all of this stuff still looks like it's being headed by the White Hat Alliance, and it never looks like the deep state's in charge. Looks like the deep state's been getting more degraded every single time we look at the cards on them. Like, they're just, it's a lot. They're huge. They were a huge organized crime and unbelievable, spiritually degraded. Like, they're a hideous group. What they've been doing to humanity is just appallable. Like, that's not a word, appalling. And like, it's horrifying. Okay. And it's taken years and years and years and years of planning and background work for these White Hat Alliance to even get as far as they have. And I think they've gotten quite far. Okay, so I still see in the cards that that's what's going on. So I've looked at Ben Fulford's stuff about 100 times. You guys know I've looked at his stuff. I used to look at it on the regular, because he does have a lot of good intel. But his thing on Trump's a deep state Trump, no. Something else is going on. And what I got with Jean-Claude was they will eventually get to the bottom of it. And now they'll spin it. Okay, they're going to spin it with this, like, they're going to take out maybe Pam Bondi, or they're getting you to look at all of these guys as demons. Okay, like, remember, I was always saying, all of these people have been on both sides. All of Trump's team, I'd say 99% of them have been on the bad guy side. A lot of them capitulated. Some of them are being used, strong-armed. They're being puppeted. And some of them aren't even themselves anymore. I mean, look at Pam is apparently a whole different looking person. So is this Dan guy. I feel like all of them have their demons and they've been on the bad side. And now they're going to use it likely to get you to understand all people in political positions who have been groomed for that, groomed for politics, have been compromised. And all of them, like if they got anywhere by their own steam and they were politically brought up, so went to school, studied, and they're placed and used like a chessboard, okay, by the bad guys. That's what's been going on. All of our politicians all over the world. Okay, so now I feel like a lot of those chess players have been replaced by doubles of them, clones, who knows, but not their original self, mask wearers. And they're using these guys, and it feels like this will be a good time to spin it and maybe take out some of those players. Okay, and show you that I think a lot of this, what's going on in the world, is to show humans that politics has always been theater and has never been to be taken seriously. It's always been against humanity. So, of course, we have to take it seriously because they're actually out to get us. They've always been an enemy of the people. None of it was ever created to help you. Okay, and when anyone tried to, they got taken out or controlled. They got, they did stuff to them, right? We know that. Okay, so let's have a look at, just really quickly here, is the Trump, just to settle down all the questions, is the Trump we're seeing the double or mask wearer, whatever, because we're seeing multiple different versions of Trump. The one recently who's been saying all this stuff and actually really pissing everybody off, even really big Trumpsters are probably alarmed at some of the stuff he's been pulling. Okay, what's going on with Trump? Is he doing that on purpose? Is he trying to show you not to put anyone on a pedestal? Is there a bigger plan down the road? Is this moving us towards an outcome that will turn this all around? That would be the Wheel of Fortune. Some justice card in there maybe somewhere. Or in fact, do we have a deep state placed Trump? I guess we got to look at it again, because honestly, the amount of people writing to me worried about that. And I get it. It does look like that, but let's have a look. I think we're in the depths of Betty. Sorry, if you're not a cat lover, you just won't understand how much we love our kitties. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, yes, Betty. All right. Yeah, and she's kind of the boss. She's the boss of me, I'll tell you that right now. Yeah? Grumpy Pants. So there we've got the star. So we're going to work around her for now. Oh, boy. And the devil. Oh, boy. Okay, that leans towards they're vulnerable. So White Hat Alliance, vulnerable to the deep state. Three of Cups. Okay, I feel like, again, they're being, something's being held over them. Something, they feel vulnerable, or there's children that are vulnerable, and they're being, right now, a lot of what's going on is a control mechanism by the, there's still some deep state running around out there. And it feels like they've left a threat, but it'll soon be, see that card there? Sorry. Here, Betty, if you're going to be there, you're going to become useful. See, there's Betty looking at, there's soon going to be, this will get cleared up. So we're going to have a turnaround of things that all of a sudden it won't look like, I'm going to use her if she's going to be like that. It won't look like this anymore. And you'll understand that. No, so he's not, we don't have a deep state Trump. That's the card. That devil would have to be in the first card down or the past. I feel like we still have a situation here where we have something's being held over the white hats, and they're in a vulnerable position, and it's a last-ditch effort on the part of the bad guys. They're just trying to hold off the coming out of the Epstein list, okay? And they're threatening a large group of people, including children and infants. So I don't know where they got those people, but they, who knows? They got underground tunneling everywhere. Now it does look like a lot of their threat is made up. So, but I feel like some of it has, like there is a chance people could be hurt. So I feel like the White Hat Alliance is being really safe and cautious. Wow. So I feel like we're going to have to let this play out, and they might spin it all kinds of ways in the meantime. You're going to see have you noticed they're spinning it over here and spinning it? None of it makes sense. Like these guys are quitting. Oh, they're not quitting now. Oh, Kash Patel's going to stay till the end. I think they're just going to play it out as long as they can until the truth can come out. But that 6 of Swords looks like in the next 6, and let's hope that's days. That could be hours with swords, days or weeks. I think the truth about that whole situation is going to come out. Now, the next thing I wanted to look at, I'm not going to be on here long because of the throat and stuff, and I don't want to stress myself. Like I'm still kind of not up to par here. I don't know what hit me, but it was ugly. The minute I got into Alberta, it like hit me like a ton of bricks, and took me a couple days. Thank goodness I could do that video with Michelle. But right after we did that video, I started not feeling good. Yeah, and then it's been the whole time since I was in Alberta. But anyway, so let's have a look at the situation with the flooding. So many people wrote me after, because when I looked at it, it looked like literally the flood was a natural occurrence. Okay, so then somebody said, well, maybe I need to ask the question differently. Did the rainfall that caused the flooding that's naturally occurred from the rainfall, the amount of rainfall, was the amount of rainfall that was created? Like, because we saw that guy, he was cloud seeding in Texas. Isn't that funny though? That guy, he looks like way too young to be that big CEO of it. It seems like he's an actor. What do you guys think about that? Like, I feel like they're spinning the whole thing with the cloud seeding and stuff in Texas. I'm not saying it wasn't cloud seeded. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're spinning the whole thing to out cloud seeding and out weather manipulation. So I feel like something was put in place. It eventually created a situation that then created flooding. Okay, now I do want you to know though, and a lot of people also wrote me who are from there, that the place in Texas that flooded has flooded many times before. And it's even known to be a flash flood area. Okay, but I feel like, and I said this even at the very end of my last World News, I said this right at the end, and I should have looked more into it. But I get that what created the conditions that make that area a flash flood magnet, right? A place where flash floods are common and have happened over and over. What could be what created those conditions, the soil to be the way it is likely because of weather manipulation. And I did say that right at the end of that. And I do think that's true. Okay, so what the person that wrote me asked was, ask it like this. Did the rainfall and the amount of rainfall that happened, was that because of cloud seeding and manipulation, and or both? Okay, let's have a look. We're going to use Betty again. Distance. So it would have been something that was done from a distance. Interesting. These wands are yeses, in my opinion, because they are, here, let me just do it over here. I'm going to have to do it like this. Yeah, Betty's just taken over the spot there. That's all there is to it, folks. So, yeah, it's one of her last days here in Vancouver, so I'm going to let her. So if you're grumpy about it, oh well. Okay, so we've got the 2 of Wands there and the 3 of Wands. So that it looks very possible with those wands. They're gateways. And it looks like it might have been done in the past and then happened. So it's from things that were manipulated in the past. Now, this is interesting because we've got the King of Wands here. That's Trump kind of knew about this. He knew this was coming. And we got the Magician. They know about, of course, they know about the manipulation and everything. Now we've got I feel like they're really using it. So they knew it was coming. That's fascinating. The Magician there. They knew it was coming. And it also looks like a lot of the flooding, because we got the Magician, you need to look carefully at all the photos. Okay, so I understand there's been flooding and lots of people got killed, apparently. Okay, I think less than they said, first of all. I also think there could be something going on with those kids, so those daughters. So somebody put something out there, all those daughters of political peoples that were at that camp. Okay. So something was put out there that really caught my eye that said the camp grooms girls and might be an MK altering camp, which could be exactly why. If Trump knew the flooding was coming, because it was already created in the past by the bad guys, and he might have used it, the White Hat Alliance might have used it to go in there and rescue those girls, take them out of there from what was being done to them. And they could all be in an underground, undercover. So people say they're passed over, but they may not be. So I'm going to ask that right now. Okay, that sounded, my intuition grabbed onto that and went, man, because another thing I got when I first looked at this was that there wouldn't be as many dead as they first say. Okay, so and also with that Magician in the middle, have a look at the pictures of the flooding. A whole bunch of them have been proven to be the ones where there's tons of garbage and debris floating and stuff. Yeah, some of that happened, but not nearly what they're showing you. So you got to look at the flooding pictures because they're creating and generating them with AI. Okay, and a lot of people found weird problems with those photographs. I shared some of that on my social media. I'm starting to lose my voice, so this is going to be my last question, but are the girls safe or are they passed over like they're saying? Okay, because a lot of people are writing me saying they know some of those girls. They know people who know the girls. They feel really bad for the families. I understand that, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, not even remotely. If they really did die in the flooding, that's horrifying. But it is really suspicious that, yeah, does look really interesting. It could be where they got rescued, maybe from some kind of MK altering or some kind of ritual camp. Who knows what they're doing? And if these are high up government people's got their kids in there, you know, we know those people are a lot of those 99%, honestly, 99% deep state and cult families, and or the cult has something over them and holds them hostage. Like, it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, that's what we've been finding out. Okay, boom, boom. Secret. So they were secreted out of there. They were secreted out of there. Yeah, see that 9 of Cups there in the middle? Yeah, these guys are not, there's no dead cards here. Those guys were secreted out of where they were, and they are going to, I feel like they'll come back on the scene. I feel like they're going to be part of exposing what happened in the past and what lengths the White Hats had to go to These guys are safe and hidden somewhere. So I'd go with a rescue mission happened. I'd go with a rescue mission on that one. There's nothing bad about these cards. These guys are in good hands. I think they were rescued from something that was happening, and they have to keep it a secret. So under the guise of they died, witness protection, stuff like that, right? Yeah, they're cleaning up the swamp, guys. They're still doing it. So everything I've been looking at here for years now keeps me on the path of this is complex, but things are happening for the good. So I'm sticking with that until the cards tell me otherwise. I'm sending you guys ravens. I'm going to go have a nap now.
Làm sao chúng ta có thể nói dối được? Mọi người đều thấy lúc Khúc Bình nói ra những lời này, trên mặt nhịn không được đỏ lên một chút. Nhưng việc này không thích hợp cho lắm. Khúc huynh xem, huynh chịu thiệt thòi lớn như thế mà trên người lại không có một chút thương tích nào. Điều này cũng thật là khó tin nhỉ. Sở Dương nói chân thành, Khúc sư huynh, nếu cần để ta giúp huynh nhé. Như thế nào, người giúp ta, còn người trong. Mắt Khúc Bình co rút lại, người giúp ta cái gì, ta có thể giúp huynh tạo ra vài đạo vết thương trên người đấy. Sở Dương thành thành thật thật cười nói, Khúc sư huynh, ta cũng vì lo cho huynh thôi. Huynh trở về nói với trưởng bối chuyện này. Họ thấy trên người huynh không có thương tổn thế kia chắc chắn sẽ nghĩ là huynh nói dối đấy. Như vậy theo quy củ thì huynh chắc chắn là sẽ phải bị phạt. Vậy chi bằng để ta quẹt cho huynh vài kiếm, đánh nhẹ mấy quyền, cộng thêm mấy cước mềm mại nữa. Huynh xem như thế có ổn không? Ha ha. Khúc Bình cười ha hả, đưa mắt khinh thường nhìn Sở Dương. Người chính là Sở Dương hả? Gần đây Lý sư đệ luôn dặn dò chúng ta có thể đối phó Thạch Thiên Sơn, nhưng nhất định phải lưu lại Sở Dương để hắn tự ra tay. Ha ha, vậy nên bọn ta mới buông tha cho ngươi. Không ngờ hôm nay ngươi lại còn muốn giúp đỡ chúng ta. Hờ hờ, bằng mớ công phu mèo cào của ngươi, để xem ngươi làm cách nào giúp ta đây. Không biết có giúp được không, nhưng cũng muốn thử một lần. Sở Dương nói rất thân thiết, nói không chừng Khúc sư huynh đột nhiên phát bệnh, đứng im bất động cho ta đánh. Nếu vậy không phải là rất thoải mái sao? Khúc Bình nở nụ người âm trầm, nói thong thả, Thiên Ngoại Lâu ta, 8 ngọn núi có cả thảy 796 đệ tử cả nam lẫn nữ, hàng năm đều có xếp hạng. Tuy Khúc Bình ta bất tài nhưng cũng được xếp hạng thứ 19. Xin hỏi Sở Dương đệ xếp hạng thứ mấy vậy? Khúc Bình vừa hỏi, mấy người thiếu niên thiếu nữ phía sau đều cười vang. Mọi người đều biết, trong bảng xếp hạng đệ tử của Thiên Ngoại Lâu hiện tại, trong 10 người đứng đầu thì có đến 8 người là của Bát Phong. Ngay cả đại đệ tử Thạch Thiên Sơn của Tử Trúc Viên cũng chỉ xếp hạng thứ 13 mà thôi. Còn 2 tên đệ tử còn lại đều nằm trong 700 người sau cùng. 2 người Sở Dương và Đàm Đàm gần như là đệ nhất từ dưới lên. Hiện tại, một gã vô danh tiểu tốt lại muốn khiêu chiến Khúc Bình, người nằm trong top 20, chênh lệch hơn 700 bậc. Đây quả thực là vuốt râu hùm, đúng là muốn chết mà. Sở Dương cũng cười, nụ cười của hắn trông bình thường nhưng lại cảm giác vô cùng lạnh giá. Bây giờ là mùa hè, khí trời nóng bức, vậy mà tiếng cười của Sở Dương giống như một cơn gió lạnh từ đỉnh Tiết Sơn băng giá thổi xuống. Mọi người đều cảm thấy toàn thân lạnh lẽo. Ánh mắt Sở Dương trở nên băng lãnh, chậm rãi nói, uy nghiêm của Tử Trúc Viên không phải là cái các ngươi có thể xâm phạm được. Quy củ của Thiên Ngoại Lâu càng không phải là thứ các ngươi có thể phá hư. Khúc Bình, hôm nay ta mượn ngươi để lập uy vậy, trước sau gì cũng phải dẫm đạp lên những người này để bước lên vị trí đệ nhất đại đệ tử. Nếu đã thế, vậy liền bắt đầu từ hôm nay đi. Trận chiến hôm nay chính là trận chiến đầu tiên để ta quật khởi ở Thiên Ngoại Lâu. Sở Dương ta từ trước đến nay luôn đứng nơi đầu sóng ngọn gió, nghênh tiếp khiêu chiến của người khác. Giờ đây sau khi trùng sinh, mặc dù trở về tầng lớp dưới chót nhưng tính cách vẫn ngạo nghễ như cũ, cô độc một mình trên đỉnh cao. Một tên có tu vi vũ đồ cấp 3 thấp kém lại muốn lập uy với một cao thủ vũ sĩ cấp 2, chuyện này quả là đáng chê cười mà. Đám người phía sau Khúc Bình nhất thời cười rộ lên, ánh mắt nhìn Sở Dương như nhìn một thằng ngốc. Rác rưởi, người còn muốn lập uy nữa hả? Hơn nữa lại lấy Khúc sư huynh làm đối tượng lập uy, đầu ngươi mắc bệnh à, tên này điên rồi. Khúc sư đệ, ngươi lên đánh cùng Sở Dương một trận đi. Lưu Vân Viêm dẫn đội ngũ này đến đây, nhưng từ nãy đến giờ vẫn chưa có xuất thủ. Ánh mắt hắn ngưng trọng nhìn Sở Dương, chậm rãi nói, đừng khinh địch, tu vi của hắn cao hơn Khúc Bình một bậc, khả năng cảm nhận đương nhiên sẽ nhạy cảm hơn. Từ lúc Sở Dương đi ra luôn cười nói hòa nhã, hắn vẫn chưa cảm giác được điều gì. Nhưng lúc này khí thế toàn thân Sở Dương đột nhiên biến đổi, Lưu Vân Viêm đột nhiên cảm thấy một cổ áp lực rét lạnh ập vào mặt. Sự khinh thường trong lòng Lưu Vân Viêm lúc này giống như băng tuyết gặp ánh sáng liền tan ra, trong phút chốc đã biến mất không còn bóng dáng. Lúc này ánh mắt hắn nhìn Sở Dương quả thật có chút hơi kinh sợ, 4 chữ không thể khinh địch của Lưu Vân Viêm vừa ra khỏi miệng, những tiếng cười xung quanh chợt tắt ngấm. Điều này chứng tỏ, đối với cuộc chiến giữa Khúc Bình và Sở Dương, Lưu Vân Viêm cũng không dám chắc là Khúc Bình sẽ thắng. Thế nhưng trong toàn bộ đệ tử đời thứ 5 của Thiên Ngoại Lâu, Lưu Vân Viêm cũng thuộc nhóm 10 người đứng đầu. Mặc dù chỉ là vị trí cuối cùng nhưng thực lực của hắn cũng là rất không tầm thường, là vũ sĩ cấp 4, người như vậy tự nhiên sẽ có chút nhãn lực. Khúc Bình mặc dù chỉ là vũ sĩ cấp 2 nhưng đối với một vũ đồ cấp 3 như Sở Dương mà nói, không thể nghi ngờ là cách biệt một trời một vực. Vũ sĩ so với vũ đồ như tinh anh so với quỷ mục, chẳng lẽ trận chiến này còn có gì phải lo lắng sao? Sở Dương cười bình thản, tiến lên phía trước một bước nói, Khúc Bình tới đây ta cho ngươi vài lý do để nói dối khỏi bị trừng phạt này. Yeah! Khúc Bình giống to một tiếng, đột nhiên vọt lên xuất thẳng ra một quyền cực mạnh, động tác vô cùng nhanh nhẹn tựa như một con báo đang săn mồi. Hắn thấy Sở Dương không xuất ra binh khí nên hắn cũng không có ý định rút kiếm trước. Động tác của Sở Dương chợt khựng lại, ánh mắt lóe sáng. Lúc này hắn đột nhiên có cảm giác như mình đang bị ai đó nhìn trộm, tựa hồ nhất cử nhất động của mình đều có người âm thầm quan sát. Đây là linh giác mạnh mẽ mà kiếp trước hắn đã tôi luyện ra. Loại linh giác này không biết đã bao nhiêu lần giúp hắn thoát khỏi những lúc nguy hiểm sinh tử. Hôm nay cảm giác như vậy lại xuất hiện, nhưng không cảm nhận được sát cơ của người trong bóng tối. Xem ra người nọ cũng không có ác ý. Trong đầu Sở Dương chợt hiểu ra, đối với thân phận của người đang âm thầm quan sát đã đoán được mấy phần. Thầm nghĩ, đã có cơ hội tốt trời ban thế này, ta liền tặng cho các ngươi một chút ngạc nhiên đi. Sở Dương cũng không nhìn ngó lung tung, nét mặt không đổi, triển khai bộ pháp nghênh đón Khúc Bình đang xông tới. Động tác này của hắn rõ ràng rất bình thường, nhưng trong mắt những người xung quanh lại kỳ quái khó nói rõ. Thân hình Sở Dương bất động, thân thể hắn tựa như đang xông về phía trước, nhưng Khúc Bình lại phát hiện chính mình vọt lên tới vài trượng mà vẫn không cách nào chạm đến cả vạt áo của Sở Dương. Trong mắt những người khác, thân thể Sở Dương rõ ràng đang tiến về phía trước nhưng thực tế lại đang lui về phía sau. Nhìn thì có vẻ như hắn đang tấn công, nhưng thực tế hành động thật sự của hắn lại là đang tránh đòn. Hai chân hắn duy trì tư thế sải bước về phía trước, di chuyển vô cùng linh hoạt. Hiện tượng quỷ dị này đã hoàn toàn phá vỡ nhận thức của mọi người. Trong rừng trúc, Mạnh Siêu Nhiên đột nhiên há hốc mồm, xém chút nữa hô lên kinh hãi. Nhưng hắn chợt tỉnh ngộ, ngay lập tức ngậm miệng lại, hai hàm răng nghiến chặt. Mạnh Siêu Nhiên cảm giác gò má mình bỗng có chút đau nhức, nhưng hẳn là Mạnh Siêu Nhiên vẫn còn chưa hoàn toàn tỉnh táo lại, hai mắt còn đang trợn tròn, đầy khiếp sợ nhìn những động tác như nước chảy mây trôi của Sở Dương. Cùng lúc đó, một nơi khác trong rừng trúc cũng truyền ra hai tiếng rít lạnh. Thanh âm lớn như vậy, cơ hồ đem khoảng không gian xung quanh bọn họ hút thành một mảnh chân không. Sở Dương chỉ làm duy nhất một động tác né tránh, liền đã làm cho ba con người phi thường đang quan sát trong bóng tối vô cùng khiếp sợ. Ba người nhìn không chớp mắt vào những động tác của Sở Dương, trong mắt tràn đầy nóng bỏng. Tụ tiết trong mây, kinh động thiên không, như tiến như thoái, như xa như gần. Bộ pháp này, tất cả mọi người ở đây đều rất quen thuộc. Kinh Hồng Vân Tiết bộ mỗi thế hệ đệ tử đều được tu luyện, người nào cũng biết, ngay cả những tạp dịch nấu nước cũng có thể đi vài bước. Nhưng chưa từng có bất cứ người nào có thể luyện đến trình độ như Sở Dương. Kinh Hồng Vân Tiết bộ chính là do tổ sư khai phái Thiên Ngoại Lâu sáng tạo ra. Năm đó vị tổ sư này đang ở trên một đỉnh núi, tính thư giãn một chút bằng cách tắm dưới ánh mặt trời hiếm hoi của mùa đông lạnh giá. Nhưng khi ông nằm xuống lại phát hiện những đám mây trên trời thuần một màu trắng, mà trên mặt đất tuyết đọng trắng một màu dưới ánh mặt trời cũng phản xạ lên thiên không. Sắc màu của tiết và mây hòa lấy nhau, biến ảo vạn dạng. Trên trời không có gió, nhưng những đám mây lại tựa như đang trôi về phía trước, tựa như lui về phía sau, có lúc như đang tỏa lan ra, có lúc lại như ngưng tụ lại. Căn bản chưa nhìn thấy rõ ràng thì đám mây ấy đã bất chi bất